Hey guys, it's Sarah. Welcome back to my channel. It's Saturday, December 7th, and Sarra Cannon is doing her Creator 2025 writing plan, which is kind of like a prequel to her HB90 course starting next Sunday, the 15th. So I'm gonna sit down, we're gonna join a live with her. We're gonna go through her kind of like how to create a really good writing plan for 2025, and I feel like I've lost the writing plan for my fantasy romance book lately, and I pretty much have no daily or weekly writing schedule. I'm just fitting it in like wherever I can. So I'm really looking forward to getting motivated and figuring out what is a good idea for me for next year. I feel like in 2024 I had a lot of health issues, and so I kind of saw the plan I had made at the beginning of the year unraveled very quickly, and I was going from like 20 something thousand words a month to more like 8 to 10,000 words a month, and I really struggled to like create a new plan from that. So I'm gonna take what I learned in 2024 of like I probably need to add a little more space and time for things, a little more downtime. So hopefully we can figure something out in this live stream that will be helpful for that. That's kind of a mix between getting a lot done for 2025 and getting my book published, but also take into account that I've had like a lot of health issues and probably can't do as much as I thought I could this year. So I need to figure out some kind of like in between. Usually when I really get into the HB90 course and like they have these like time management systems of how many time blocks you have, and like if I really go on like the conservative side and like really like give myself a lot of extra time, I'm hoping I will actually meet my goals this year and like not be super stressed by the end of the year that I didn't meet all of my like writing goals and different things. So let's work on some writing goals for 2025 and try to salvage some goals for December, because I've barely written anything this month and I still really want to get some words in before the end of the year. Right now I think I'm at like 53,000 in my current work in progress, and I really want to get closer to 60,000. Feels like a good way to end 2024, like be much closer to that. So hopefully I can like figure something out to make that work for the next few weeks and try to like fit in a couple thousand more words. Hopefully I have that in me somewhere. So let's get to work and look at this whole plan she has for creating our writing plan for 2025.
It's not going to be perfect unless you happen to have a crystal ball and you know exactly, or you happen to be like really high discipline and you follow through on everything that you say you're going to do, which some people, good job if that's you. I wish I was you. Most of us are going to have things like chickens get out, and there's going to be illnesses and things that knock us down, and so our schedule when we planned for 6 books might turn into 4. The story might not come together as fast as we expected. There's all kinds of things that can happen, but what we're doing today is setting intentions. Here's my intention for how the next year will go, and I have a process for you that we're going to follow.
So I just finished the live stream and I have so many thoughts. I did a lot of like the workbook prep in the live stream about my new writing routine. We did a lot of look at like the data from last year to see how much I wrote. I ended up writing about somewhere between like 77,000 words to like 80 something thousand words, which is kind of crazy. And then I looked at how many days I wrote. I don't have like the final number there. I kind of like did it per month. Anyways, I have a lot of thoughts. So basically I just finished. I'm gonna be thinking a lot. It was like a 2-hour live stream with so much information, but I have a lot to think about. So I'm gonna go do that. We're gonna decorate our Christmas tree. I'm gonna think about these things, and then I'm gonna come back and tell you my actual plan, because I have a lot of thoughts brewing, but I feel like I need to like talk it out with myself and like think about it first, and then I'm gonna let you know what my 2025 writing plan is and my plan for the end of December. Okay, I'll be back. the next day. It's Sunday, and I did a lot of thinking yesterday. I came up with my writing plan for 2025 and what I'm doing the rest of December. So I just wanted to share a little bit. So yesterday I did Sarra Cannon's live stream, which is like connected to her HB90 course, which I've taken in the past. And it's all about like planning your time efficiently and like realistically, which is something I really struggle with. It ended up being a 2-hour live stream, so I didn't film that much for you guys because it was a lot of talking, and it was great. It's always such a joy to like be in those meetings, but I was also like trying to figure out a lot of the questions. She really wanted us to look on 2024 and see how many days did we write, how many words did we write overall, what was the like monthly average to this. So some of my data I think was missing, but basically I wrote somewhere between like 77 and 80 something thousand words last year, spread out over a couple different projects. And in my main project, my fantasy romance book, I wrote about 60 something thousand words. I ended up deleting around probably like 10,000 words this year as well from like replotting my book a couple months ago. That's a lot of words. It was really good to like see that. That was impressive. Almost 80,000 words. My most successful month was March. I wrote almost 30,000 words, but some of them were like edited words. They weren't like all brand new words. When I was going through my manuscript, because in the beginning I was just editing an older draft, and so they were like editing words. Anyways, I was adding a ton of words, but some of them were old chapters that worked from different drafts. So 28,000 was like the highest count. I feel like the actual highest month where I wrote all fresh words was August, which was about 12,000 words. I don't know what I did in January for some reason. I can't find the data for it. Maybe it's somewhere else. So if so, maybe I wrote like even like 70 or 85,000 words this year. I have no idea. The biggest thing that I really sat down and did was she had like the 2025 calendar here, and I went through every single month. I knocked off weekends because the odds of me writing on weekends are not very high. Some weekends I write, some weekends I don't. I try not to. And then I knocked off all sorts of like vacation months, and like I'm going to my friend's wedding this year, like holidays like Christmas and Thanksgiving, like adding a couple days buffer on it. Maybe I'll write those days, maybe I won't. And then basically what I did in order to make it more realistic for like, I always get really sick with my period every month. I have like all these chronic illness issues. I have this back problem going on. So I decided to knock off an entire week on top of like whatever it was every single month. So this is kind of like, it's ended up looking crazy, but basically I have on every single month how many days, like writing days, I think I have available. And the nice thing was when I looked at the months in 2024, the months that I had like the least writing done were for similar reasons that I put here. So like in September we went on a 2-week vacation out of the country. When I came back I was sick, so I only ended up writing 5 days in the month of September like total. And that is kind of like what I unintentionally planned for this September in case we like went on vacation. And that's also what I put for like November, because we might go away again in November like we did this year, and then Thanksgiving, you just never know. I'm going away in May, and then I'm going away in June. And so knocking off like a lot of time, those are my like lowest months for the year, is like or September, November, May, and June. And that looked pretty similar to what I actually did in 2024, not like my plan. So that was really good to see that like it kind of seems realistic. So basically then I broke it up into how much do I typically write in an hour. So my writing sprints, if I do 2 writing sprints, typically it's somewhere between 500 and 1,000 words. So I kind of just decided that if it's counted as a writing day, it's like, okay, so for December, this December that we're in right now, I've decided to only give myself 5 writing days for the rest of the month, because we go away for Christmas and then there's a new year, and I just like can't guarantee that I'm gonna have a lot of time to write. So I have this whole next week, which is 5 days, but just in case something happens and I can't write every single day, there's like a couple days of the next week before we go away. Or I may write the whole week this week and additional next week, or just this week and not next week. Who knows? So I'm giving myself 5 days. And on those 5 days, the thought process is if I sit down and do at least an hour of writing, I should be getting around 1,000 words. I kind of want the goal to always be 1,000 on a writing day. That way, even if like there's some days where I do much less, which has been typical for my last year, I need to hit that 1,000 at least 5 times in X number of time during the month. So basically all of this is being calculated off of 1,000 words. For my current manuscript, I would like to write, it's somewhere around 40k more. It's really like 30 something thousand words, I'm not sure, but I want my manuscript to get around 90k, maybe less, maybe more, I'm not sure. It doesn't really matter, but like that would be finishing all the scenes that I have left to finish, basically, or the whole new plot and outline that I have. It's probably around 30 to 40,000 words. Okay, so that's the first step. We need to hit that like 30 to 40,000 mark. Then we have to edit the words. We're gonna have to go through each chapter. So what I basically made yesterday was a kind of like a graph for myself, making like a slow, medium, and fast plan, and just kind of how many words per month that would be. Sorry, the lighting's gonna be weird. So the slow plan is doing 1,000 words total just for those days that I like said I would be able to write. So for December, that would be 5,000 words, because I said I have 5 days to write, and if I'm trying to shoot for 1,000 words of those writing days, but then, you know, I could be writing for 2 to 3 hours, and maybe I'm getting close to 2,000 words sometimes when I'm doing that day. I basically put the plan. The slow plan is the 1,000 per day, and then the fast plan is double. That kind of helped me map out when things would be done. So if I do the slow plan, like March, I would hit between 30 and 40,000 words with that goal, and then from March on I could start editing those words, I guess, if that makes sense. And then the fast goal would be finishing that goal at the end of January to beginning of February. There's a lot of things I have to do to really make sure that this happens. So the biggest like change I could make that would make me more successful, because honestly this whole thing made me kind of sad. That's why I really had to think about it yesterday, was like when I did all the math about how much time I have available based on like what I wrote this year and whatever, and I just wished I had gotten more done, and so it made me really sad. I was like, I want to be publishing more than one book next year, and that just kind of made me really sad. It's like I feel like I could write a whole nother book next year, but I probably couldn't have it published next year. I don't know, who knows what would happen. I have like so many books that I want to write, and it never feels like there's enough time. Anyway, so I started being like, what are things, like what's something I could actually change or improve in order to make like that dream of like publishing more or writing more happen. My number one answer was being able to write more words on the days that I do write. So hitting that 1,000 mark always, that's like the new goal, is like every time you do like a full writing day, hitting that 1,000 mark. What was it? I have 131 days that I can write this next year, so 131, that was 131,000 words, which is a lot, because when I subtract what I need to write to finish the book, it's like, okay, subtract 40,000 and we're still left with like a whole nother book. The sequel to the book I'm currently writing would be possible. Then I have other books that I really want to write. I know myself, I really suck at like only working on one project. I really want my career to be 2 genres, and I know like a lot of people advise against that, but I also see a lot of authors do it really successfully. So I feel like it would really help me to be writing something super different like that. I find fantasy one of my favorite genres. It also is a stressful genre. You have to do a lot of thinking, planning, preparing, and it's just a lot on your brain, whereas contemporary romance to me is like so fun. So I definitely want to be working on that book next year too. So these are the things that I kind of realized, if I don't do these, I won't be able to write more or even like meet this current goal, I guess, you know? The plan that I made is that when it's going to be a writing day, I need to block off 1 to 2 hours specifically for writing. Nothing else. Like it has to be on the calendar, and then I have to I would like to add in live streams for that day, like that I'm actually sitting down with another group of people who are working on stuff and trying to get work in those days. It's always super successful for me. I need to be working in sprints more. My most successful month was August, and that was because I was using Notion and had broken it up into like 250 words 4 times, and so I had to do 4 sprints, which is potentially 2 hours of writing, and I would usually get more than the 1,000 mark in that. So that's a system that I know has worked for me in the past, so I'm gonna start doing that again. The second thing, which is like, this is kind of stressful for me, I had already been thinking about doing this, is basically I need to prep for my scenes. I don't always do that anymore when I'm writing. Knowing which scene I'm gonna write, or a couple scenes I'm gonna write, and like researching thoughts about them, brainstorming ideas. I think I need to make some sort of system where on my non-writing days I do brainstorm things and like make notes, and like I decide on what I'm gonna write, and then that day I have like the scene card, everything. So I got a bunch of index cards in order to like write out the scenes that I have. So Scrivener does do that like electronically, but something about electronic, I was kind of thinking I could like gamify this a little bit and maybe have a bunch of the cards that I need to finish writing. It's not just like scenes that I need to finish writing, it's like small paragraphs or changes that I need to make within the whole story. So there's like a small section in chapter 1 that I still need to write because I've changed things over time and I need to add certain stuff. The same with chapter 2. There's like a small part that I have to add in and change. Same with chapter 3. Like there's the ones that are like mostly written now have these small paragraphs or 2 or whatever that need to be added to alter the way they currently are, and that kind of stuff really annoys me. So it's like not just like having this empty page that is like so fun to write. It's like trying to work things in to the new chapter. So my thought process was that if I wrote down all these things on index cards and I almost kind of just like pick one out at random, and it's like, that's what we're doing today, and then I get like so many minutes to brainstorm, and then we're like writing for a couple sprints, I think that would do it. Basically, if I want to write more, my realization is like the skill I need to improve is how much I can write within like an hour, how my writing sessions go, which is why the most important thing to me for this new year, and I'm going to be trying to work on it in December, is like making a routine, like a writing routine plus like just an overall day routine. I guess if that makes sense. So making sure I'm like making the most out of my days and like actually really putting in the hours on this, because I have no problem like working for hours and hours and hours on stuff, but sometimes I think if I'm frustrated with my writing, it used to be writing that I spent hours and hours and hours on, and there's parts of my book that like frustrate me, and so if I don't want to feel frustrated, I feel like I like don't want to work on it, and that's just not gonna get my book published. But we're getting there. I need to like really make sure I'm making it fun. I plan to continue using like the gemstones because right now they count as 250 words. 250 is like moderately easy to write. Sometimes that's all I can write in like a sprint, but only if we're having like a bad day. I feel like I haven't thought about when I'm writing a lot. So I want to keep using the gemstones. My goal for the end of December, I really want to end 2024 on 60K again, because I've already hit this number now that I look back at all my stats. So I want to get back to that number with like final words, you know what I mean? And then the last thing I did to motivate myself is make a Kanban board. So I have this first tab is hitting 40K, or hitting, this is 95,000 words. I don't know if I'm actually gonna hit 95,000. That's just where we're at with that. And then this next 4 is editing all the chapters. So I have it listed as like 40 chapters right now because that's what I think it's about. It's like 40 something. So I've just kind of got it in 10 rows of 4 because as soon as I finish the words, I have to start editing it because it has to go out to my critique partner and like beta readers, which every time I see that beta reader sheet, I get so excited. So I'm definitely gonna do a whole video on the beta reader process. Yeah, so that's just like the first couple steps and they're here. So this should get me to minimum February of the year. Most likely it would get me to about March. That's kind of what I'm seeing. Unless I just drastically pick up the pace, which would be really cool. But that's what I'm seeing right now is this plan of writing 40,000 words will take me to sometime in the early spring, and then editing will be in the spring as well. We're getting there. I just really struggle with not being annoyed that we're not already there. That's like my biggest struggle with the whole like self-publishing writing process, because it just feels like the only person to blame that the project isn't done is me, and I don't like that feeling. I don't like getting mad at myself that it's not done. Life just is what it is. But I think I also didn't have very good systems in place. I think I was trying to do too many things this year. YouTube is one of my favorite things, so I want to continue doing that. The past like month or so, I've been really prioritizing like my stuff, my work, and like doing things and like spending like a lot of time working on it. And I think I just really need to continue that and like not get sidetracked by like other things. But that's the plan. Right now I'm at 53,000 words, so at least doing 5,000 more words, but hopefully 7. That's my like medium plan. I would really need to write like more than 5 days or do more in the 5 days of writing. This upcoming week I'm gonna film a whole like writing schedule kind of thing, but you won't see it for probably towards the end of December. But that's the plan, is like a whole like week in my life of like my new writing schedule. Cause yeah, I'm gonna take Christmas week off and everything, so we're getting there. I hope you guys are doing well. I feel like the encouragement piece of this is so important, and that's something I've really enjoyed about having like the HB90 course and like just like Sarra Cannon's like groups that I'm a part of. Everyone's so like supportive and positive. It's been such a good resource for me. Hearing her like have the same struggles, and she makes a lot of money and like has a lot of books out, it's like, okay, this is like a universal experience. This whole like, I wish I got more done, why don't I do more, like I don't know, this whole thing. So I'm really looking forward to retaking the HB90 course starting, I think it starts next weekend, and like rewatching all of those videos and just like trying to accept more. I'm really excited to do like the vision board and like really think about, I feel like what I want out of my life and like my writing career has like shifted in the past year or so with having some like health issues. It just feels like number one is like health. Now that my office is like set back up, I am going to be incorporating yoga in, or like stretching before writing, and walking on my walking pad at my stand-up desk while I'm doing some like research or watching my Readsy course, or just like whatever I'm doing to try to like get more exercise in, because I feel like that really stimulates your mind when you're moving. So I've got like a lot of fun changes and plans I want to make, but I just want next year, I want to publish a book, but I want to do it in a healthy way and not like I'm killing myself to do it and I feel so negative about it. I want a healthy, good emotions first book launch, you know, and year. So tell me in the comments if you guys have any writing plans for 2025 or for December. I want to hear what you have planned. Do you have any books being released? Do you have I don't know, share any of your like goals or thoughts in the comments. I love interacting with you guys in the comments. I love when you share what you're working on or things that you can relate to. It's like my favorite part. Let me know. I want to hear. Let's cheer each other on for 2025. I'm just hoping it's a good year and we all got this. It's been a like tough year, but we've got this, and I feel like yes, next year is like it. This year I feel like I learned so much with writing, like replotting things, all these different like tools I got, like so much learning, so much growing, so much learning about like the publishing process. That was something I was doing in the new year. I took the Sarra Cannon's like Publish and Thrive course. That's what I did in the beginning of 2024, and I got my cover done. Like so many wonderful things happened this year. I really learned a ton. But next year, it's the publishing year. It's the writing year, because I really do. I want to get somewhere where I'm publishing multiple books in a year. And I think we can do it. I think it'll just take a while to build up those skills. So I'm hoping I can put these like plans in place and really work on like increasing my writing productivity in a short period of time. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you in my next video. Hope you're having a wonderful day. I hope your writing is going well. Hope your December is going well. I'll see you in the next video.